Hey guys, here for a review for something that I wasn't really planning on initially doing. But if you guys remember, I reviewed the first 6 episodes of Empire Season 2, and then I kind of just stopped. If you guys remember, episode 6 really frustrated me. I didn't really know what was going to happen, and it didn't seem like the show was getting better. That was an intentional move. I didn't just stop watching because I couldn't catch up. It had nothing to do with that. I just stopped watching because I wanted to stop watching, to be honest with you guys, because the show really was annoying me. It was very much annoying me. It was going in all these really random directions and all of these things where it seemed like it could have conflict and then there wasn't a conflict. It was resolved within the first 30 minutes. It just really pissed me off, and I was planning on just stop watching the show. However, I've had requests from people telling me, hey, episode 11 is really great. You got to watch the mid-season premiere, so I'm going to do that. In order for me to do that, I need to catch up on episode 7 to 10, and that's what this review is going to be. It's going to review episode 7 to 10, mainly going to talk about episode 10, what I liked, what I didn't like, because let me just tell you, this is a very divided show, especially the last episode. I will definitely get into that, but let's get into episode 7 to 10. I'll give you my quick thoughts on 7 through 9, because I don't have a lot to say about those episodes, honestly. I really don't. I do have a lot to say, though, about episode 10. So let me get through my quick thoughts on episode 7 to 9. Episode 7, I thought was pretty bad, honestly. There really isn't that much great about episode 9. I mean, the plots in episode 7, is really bad. I mean, there's really some terrible stuff in episode 7. First of all, let's talk about Cookie and Laz, because I have no idea how this makes any sense. I mean, let's talk about the men that Cookie has been with, especially Lucious, for example. Lucious is a dangerous guy. We've known this since the first episode. He's done some really bad shit. He was a drug dealer. He did that kind of stuff with Cookie, which is what landed her in jail because, of course, she protected him and everything. And she hasn't fallen for what he's done. She's kind of been on to him, as we know. And they've been completely against each other. So why would she fall for someone like Laz? I just don't understand it. Because when you look at Lucius and Laz, they're really not that much different. I mean, they're very much the same way. They have very much the same kind of morals. The difference is, while Lucius cares about his sons, Laz just straight up kidnaps them, and I have no idea why nothing went through Cookie's mind. I mean, this guy just seemed really, really shady, just the way he was acting, the way that there were all these things that he wasn't telling her, and it did not work for me. It just, everything about that plot was really, really dumb, I gotta say. Cookie and Laz is the one thing that just, it did not make any sense whatsoever. I have no idea why Cookie trusted Laz, and you could tell from episode 7 that this was just gonna go south. You could just tell, and it wasn't really going that great at all. In fact, it really sucked, honestly. I really hated Cookie and Laz. If anything, that's like the thing I hate the most. But episode 7 in general, I really thought was not that great. Because the other plots involved Lucius trying to make Frida this huge star. What's so great about Frida? I just don't see it. Yeah, she's kind of talented. Okay, she can maybe rap a few verses, but she's not really anything that great. I don't really see what Lucius sees in her. What I really thought we were getting into was kind of like a Lucius Jamal team up, because the way the beginning of this season looked, it looked like Jamal was gonna be our main focus, because, you know, he's now taken over Empire, he's the new CEO and everything in the beginning of the season. Of course, he's eventually dethroned once Lucius is released from prison, which I thought was a good idea, but I really thought this could be a way for Lucius and Jamal to get closer, and all of a sudden, now it just seems like he's gone with Frida, and he wants to make her this big star, and it just didn't really make any sense to me whatsoever. Frida, for me, I mean, I understand that he seeked her out because Frank said that she was very talented. I understand that, but I just don't see it. Boom, 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 boom. Like, really? That's the best you can do? There's nothing good about that song. I mean, the entire song is boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. That's not a song, that's noise. That's exactly what it is. There's a difference between rhythm and noise. And boom, 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 bang, bang, bang is just noise. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing I can say about it that I enjoy. And that song in general, every time it came on, I'm just like, this is just, it's terrible. By far, I think the worst thing the Empire's put out. Because you guys know I particularly love most of their music. And this was absolute trash. I have no idea who decided to put out Boom Boom Bang Bang. It was a horrible decision. And the other plots revolved around, like, Hakeem trying to make this song better because it wasn't great enough, and Cookie and him, for whatever reason, finally being friends again, because as we know, for a while they weren't. which, him and Cookie, they weren't really bonding very well. They really weren't on a good terms, and all of a sudden they are. It just felt very half-assed. I can't remember exactly, something, she wronged him or something, I can't exactly remember, but he really wasn't on terms, they really weren't on great terms, if you remember, because of what happened with, Hakeem's girl group, I believe, yeah, that's exactly what happened, is that Hakeem, if you remember, had that girl group, and Jamal didn't want to go with them, he wanted to go with Lucious, and all of a sudden, now he's working with Cookie. It just didn't work for me. Why does she suddenly forgive him? Why are they suddenly just all of a sudden back to being this really close mother and son relationship? It just didn't really work at all. I don't really know. It just felt very half-assed and very underwritten. Mainly because there's just so much going on in these episodes and they're very convoluted. And let me say, Empire does work best when there's a lot going on, definitely. But this episode, there wasn't a lot going on. Everything going on was just boring. It really was. The other plot was like teaching Laura how to like sex herself up to be more like attractive and more sex appeal to everyone, which, okay, that's a good quality to have, but why did we have to throw, what's her name? Tiana? What's her name? I can't even think of her name right now. She's supposedly a series regular. Bullshit. I don't believe it. Tiana, I think her name is. I can't remember. What's her name? God, I can't remember right now. Tiana, I think her name is. Why do we have to throw her in here? Why did she have to be the one to give Laura this advice? I mean, it didn't make sense. It seemed like they only did this because, oh, Tiana's back. It's awesome to see her back in the show again, but that just didn't really work for me, I have to say. Really, none of that worked. Everything about episode 7 I thought was really bad, and the threesome scene was so cringy. Oh my god. So, we're supposed to believe that Mimi, who is a lesbian, not bisexual, she is a lesbian and has very bad breast cancer, as we know, would have sex with Lucious, for whatever reason, with some other random woman, and basically they'd have a threesome. I mean, everything about that was just so cringeworthy, and a lot of it seemed very violent. I mean, I understand Lucious is not he's probably very violent and things like that when it comes to having sex and things like that, but just everything about that scene was so bad. I have no idea who decided to put that together. It was a really bad idea, and I really hate it. So, yeah, pretty much everything about episode 7 I thought was a train wreck. There was really nothing that great about it. If anything, I thought the Jamal storyline was passable, and the Laura storyline, what I liked is that it did show that Hakeem cared for Laura. You definitely saw that and wanted to really help out the group. Which I can't remember the group's name right now. I know it's just, I'm blanking on it. But it just didn't really do much for me, I have to say. It didn't really do much of anything. And there's also, the girl group kind of goes away because Laura decides to kind of go solo and be with Hakeem. And I do like that Hakeem and Laura did start a genuine relationship because this is a big step up from Hakeem. He doesn't just want sex. He wants a genuine relationship, and he gets that Laura wants to wait. He gets that she's a virgin. Episode 8, out of the 4 episodes, was by far my favorite because everything in episode 8 just made sense fundamentally. And I understand that everything in Empire is going to make sense. I understand, but just episode 8 felt like a step up from everything else. I mean, it was probably right up there with episodes 2 and 4, which you guys know episode 4 is my favorite episode of Empire to date, without a doubt. I mean, it's just so psychological. There's a lot of fallout. Andre in that episode. Andre was really to the wayside after that episode, though, because he had literally nothing to do in these episodes. I have no idea why what happens in episode 10 happens. We'll get into that, but he really had nothing that major to do for the rest of this first half of the season. I'm sure he's going to have more to do in the second half, but this first half, after the whole fallout with, episode 4 and the events of that, and then episode 5 with him finding his faith in this church and everything, he's really had absolutely nothing to do, and I've been pretty pissed off because you guys know Andre probably is my favorite character in the show. I just really love everything he's going through, and you really understand why he is the way he is, definitely, and I definitely do enjoy that. But let's talk about episode 8, because like I said, I think episode 8 was definitely my favorite. The Frida and Hakeem storyline, you really understood. I mean, Hakeem really doesn't understand why Frida's all popular and everything, and what's really going on with her, why she is the star, and he wants to battle it out, and you can see that he really is beating her, and she's trying, but he's just fundamentally a better rapper than her, and I will definitely admit that. I mean, in general, he really is good at what he does. He's very passionate, and Frida's passionate too, but she's more of a background vocalist than she is a front vocalist, and I think that's something that they showed very well. I definitely really enjoyed that, and the battle between them was very good, but it also showed Hakeem's change of character, because he's not just some selfish prick anymore. He does care about Laura, and he does want Laura to be involved, and he is going to acknowledge her, which I did like seeing, and I think they showed that really well in the this episode, that Hakeem does care about Laura. He cares about her feelings, and I like the way that they handled that. We do, however, find out in this episode, though, that Anika apparently is pregnant with Hakeem's child. Kind of comes out of nowhere. If you remember, him and Anika had that brief thing in episode 6, but apparently because of that, she's now pregnant. But I do like the consequences, and I like that Hakeem basically tells her, she's about to tell him, but he just says, piss off, I want nothing to do with you, you will never be a part of this family, and you understand why he's upset. I mean, she runs the company, you can totally understand why he's upset about that, and I definitely understand that. But Anika, again, nothing to do, really, after that episode, really nothing that much to do. She kind of bonded with Rhonda over their pregnancy, which I kind of like that scene, but it felt a bit awkward as well. Rhonda, again, also really not much to do either, which I do like Rhonda's character. I know a lot of people don't, but I like Rhonda. I think she's a good character, and I like what they've done with her this season, how she always tries to stay loyal to Andre and things like that. I like her character, definitely. But, I overall really like what they did with Hakeem. And then Jamal's storyline I thought was really good too, with Cookie and Lucious basically just battling it out, but for a good reason. Like, it didn't just feel like they were randomly at each other's throats here. It made sense that basically they had two different ideas for the song. Lucious wanting it to be more bassy and Cookie wanting it to be a little bit more sentimental, and they kind of combined it together. But the idea of Jamal, this big star, this big pop star, doing a Pepsi commercial, that's the next step up from him. I mean, okay, I get it. That people that do commercials, celebrities, yes, there are celebrities in those commercials, but you're telling me a commercial is what's going to make him the next big thing? I mean, it just makes no sense to me whatsoever, and to me, it just felt like a way to promote Pepsi. It really did, and it was really dumb. It really felt like forced product placement, and there really wasn't any way thing for them to make it not forced product placement. I thought it was really dumb they did that, and I definitely did not like that. So, really dumb stuff, but I did like the way that plot was resolved overall, because this does kind of get, Cookie and Lucious to put aside their differences for a little bit. You definitely do see that, and I like that. There's a little thing in episode 9, but you definitely see they are putting aside their differences, and I definitely really enjoyed that. But the thing is, you do see Lucious is suspicious of Laz. Like, you definitely see that, and Cookie kind of clashes with him about it, which I definitely liked. But, again, why is Cookie believing Laz? I just didn't understand. Why would she believe Laz over Lucious when they really are the same type of person? I mean, Lucious would know when someone is sketchy. He's just, he's done that kind of stuff before. He would know. And granted, Lucious, I think, definitely, they're trying to redeem him as a character, and you definitely do see that this season. He's still just as powerful, but they're trying to make him a lot more, I think, sympathetic, and I definitely enjoyed that, and I thought that was really good. But I also like that Lucius didn't just do this because he wanted. It's because he thought it'd be good for Jamal's song, and I think they showed that really well, too. And overall, like I said, I definitely really enjoyed episode 8. I thought it was a very strong episode, and out of all the episodes, definitely was very strong for me. Episode 9 was really dumb. Everything about episode 9 I thought was pretty dumb. There was a really good storyline in there. I love the storyline with Sky Summers, with Alicia Keys. The problem is, we saw the same exact thing with Jennifer Hudson last year and Andre. There isn't really much of a difference here. There really isn't, because as we know, Jennifer Hudson's storyline, last year was that she sang these, like, church songs, but Lucius wanted her to be more of a pop singer, and while she tried to do these church songs, she ended up doing more pop because it just is what Lucius wanted her to do. Ultimately, she didn't want to do that, so she left. If you remember the character of Michelle, which I like Michelle White overall, but Sky Summers is pretty much the same exact character. The only difference is that Jamal actually encourages her to go for it and to actually go against Lucius, because she sings all these, like, girl pop songs, which she's a huge fan of, and you definitely see that. But he wants her to sing more of, she plays this one song from the piano, and he thinks it's just much better for her because it really shows her talent and her range. Which, let me just say, Powerful overall is an okay song, but it's very forgettable. It's nothing that great. I mean, you want to talk about an amazing song, Conqueror, I still think is the best song that this show has done to date. I mean, I love everything about Conqueror. I think it's an amazing song, and the best non-rap song, the best song in general, the best rap song. I couldn't really pick. I don't think I have a favorite rap song. Probably either Drip Drop or Snitch Bitch. It's probably between those two. But in general, for me, I think Conqueror is the best song the show has done because it feels epic. You just get that epic feel, and Powerful, it just feels very weighed down. It feels like there's definitely something missing there. Not that Alicia Keys doesn't do a great job. I think she really does a great job. Not that great of an actress, I will say. I think she's an okay actress. But you do really see the bonding between her and Jamal. This is someone that Jamal has looked up to, and now he gets to work with. And I like seeing Jamal kind of giddy about it, just working with this pop singer who he's a huge fan of, and I definitely enjoyed seeing that. I thought that was very well done. But overall, I did enjoy that storyline. I thought that was well done. But the whole thing with Cookie, this entire episode, the main storyline has to do with Cookie, and it's really, really dumb, I have to say. I really did not like the way it played out. Hakeem didn't really have much to do in this episode. He had some stuff to do here and there, but nothing really that monumental, except for, like I said, that thing with Anika, where he kind of just told her to stay away. I can't remember if that was episode 8 or episode 9. I don't remember a lot of things with episode 9, because I didn't really like it that much, mainly because of Cookie. Because of the fact that Cookie was looking for her sister. She was, she didn't know where her sister was. I can't think of her name right now, but she didn't know where she was. And she's looking with her other sister, Candace. They're trying to look for her. And of course, no surprise, Laz is the one that kidnapped her. And Cookie should have known this. I mean, she defended Laz for whatever reason. This gets her to realize that Lucious was right. Laz is this terrible person. And it just was really, really dumb. And I just didn't understand it. I just didn't get why Cookie would believe this man's lies. I mean, it's clear that he was shady. You can tell the second he opened his mouth, he was shady. Nobody trusted him, and for whatever reason, Cookie believed him. And I don't know, it just seemed like it was just a thing that they wanted to do something different, but it just didn't work for me. Cookie is so loyal to her family. She's always been a family comes first kind of woman. I mean, she went to prison to protect Lucious, her, husband that she wasn't a huge fan, but she did to protect her family. And again, you see that here, and I really think this storyline didn't really work at all, so it really didn't do much for me, really at all, the fact that Cookie would trust someone like Laz. I just don't understand that. So episode 9, not the biggest fan of, but episode 10, probably for me, is the most divided I have ever been with Empire, because there are some things that are really, really great about this episode, and I'm talking amazing scenes in this episode, but there is some stuff that is truly awful, and I have no idea what they were thinking. To me, this episode seemed like they tried to have some really powerful scenes, but then they realized, oh, it's a mid-season finale, we need to do some huge monumental cliffhanger. Who cares if it makes sense, but we're gonna do it anyway. And of course, since we had to wait till March, they want to do something big. Now, let me just say, the idea of this episode I think it's a good idea, definitely. But let's talk about these whole awards situation, because what was it called, the record awards or something like that, the rap awards, I can't remember exactly what it was called. Whatever the awards were that they went to, I can't remember what it's called, but basically, what's it called? The American Sound Award is really stupid, because you have Lucious, who sang a few background vocals on Free to Song. It was Free to Song, and for whatever reason, he's the one that gets nominated for it. Basically, Hakeem should be nominated, but Frida gets nominated, which I don't understand that at all. It just seemed like the show wanted to screw Hakeem over, and for Hakeem to basically go apeshit in this episode, because Hakeem seemed very out of character in this episode, not acknowledging Laura, not really caring as much about Laura, and for whatever reason, believing believing a return of a character, which we'll get into, which I thought was very unnecessary. Basically, we are led to believe in this episode that from this point on, we see the character of Mimi, she's been so loyal to Lucious, pretty much believed everything he said. She's been on board with him. They go to this party. I don't really remember what it was for. Kind of like I guess to kind of celebrate something. I can't really remember what it's about. But he's told that there's going to be this music streaming service for Empire, basically. That there's going to be this music streaming service, and he's like, all right. He goes to the party and basically realizes that Mimi has completely tricked him. Her girlfriend is none other than Camille. She is her wife, and for whatever reason, Camilla and her, they have basically, they tricked all of them, and it doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. I mean, if they would have done something where we knew that Mimi and Camilla were working together, I would have liked that, but Camilla's never been a huge part of the show. The only thing she did was get Hakeem to be manipulative, and get him to think that his father is this terrible person and things like that. That's really all she really contributed to the show. She went away in the very early part of season 1. I don't remember exactly when she went away, but she went away very, early. It wasn't towards the end. It was definitely more in the middle portion. And, Lucious got to go away. It felt like a good end. I don't know why they brought this character back. It didn't seem shocking. And, of course, I think there are people that don't even really remember Camilla because she was only in a few episodes. And they make it seem like it's this huge thing. Oh my god, Camilla's back. She's betrayed them all. I get it that she, obviously messed with them. But if they could have done anything else, just done this in a better way, have Mimi, be someone else. Like, just have Mimi be dating anyone else, I would have been fine with that. But it just seemed really dumb. And I get Mimi's points. Like, I really do. Like, her points, like, make a lot of sense. Yeah, Lucius is going too far. Yeah, there really is no limits for Empire. He will kill people. He will con people. He will do anything. And I understand her points. And that was kind of what Veronica thought, remember? Veronica, in the very beginning of the season, who was completely against Lucius and wanted him to stay in jail and vindicated and thought he was doing all these terrible things. Um, but because of that, she was the one that wanted him to stay in jail. Of course, he fucked her over and everything by framing her pretty much. But that's kind of what Mimi is thinking. I understand that, but it just seemed like this was very badly written and very half-assed because for whatever reason, I have no idea why this has happened. Hakeem, for whatever reason, is the deciding factor here because we know that Jamal's going to say yes. We know Andre's going to say yes. Hakeem we're kind of on the fence with, and I don't really know why. And I understand Hakeem's kind of been away and hasn't really had a lot of scenes with Lucius. I understand that, and the memories he has of Lucius aren't that great. I get that. But why is Hakeem suddenly the deciding factor? It didn't really make sense for me. It seemed like Jamal should have been the one that was kind of unsure, because he has genuine reasons to be unsure. Sure, Lucius has stayed true to him, but Lucius was very rude about his sexuality at first. He was completely against him being gay, and that would have made sense if Jamal said no. I mean, that would have definitely made sense. But Hakeem voted extremely, extremely personal, and he didn't even try to vote if Lucius was good at what he does, because, I mean, he knows what Lucius is good at what he does, but personally, he doesn't feel Lucius is good, mainly because of Camilla, who, for whatever reason, he takes her side over Cookie's, which makes no sense, because Cookie has been so loyal to him. He's worked so effortlessly with Cookie the entire season, and it just made no sense why all of a sudden he would trust Camilla. I have no idea why that happened. Hakeem has now betrayed his entire family. There is room for a good storyline, but apparently now Camilla's going to be on the show more, which, alright, I think the actress is very good. I don't think she's bad or anything, but now it seems like we have a genuine conflict with Lucius now losing Empire. I think that's an interesting way to set things up, and definitely interesting to see how that's going to play out, but everything else in this episode I thought was pretty good. I definitely will say that. We will get to the one cliffhanger that I thought was completely unnecessary, made no sense whatsoever. Basically, Cookie and the whole gang story and the whole jail storyline, I thought was very well done because, yeah, why hasn't Cookie cared more about them? I mean, the scene where that one woman is talking about everything that they've been through, and how Cookie talks about there's nothing worse than being in prison, and how she remembers losing her children and not being able to see them. I mean, it's very powerful stuff. You really do see that Cookie cared about her family. Remember, she didn't have Empire at first. She wanted it, and now she has it, but she didn't have it at first, and you can really tell how much that broke her. I mean, remember how Cookie was the first episode? She just wanted it immediately, and she really was hiding the inner pain that she was feeling, and I definitely thought that was very well handled in this episode, especially the scene where that woman asked her, why didn't you do something for us? Like, why would you care about Lucius, who has done all these terrible things and who has wronged you multiple times over us? Yes, it's a good argument, but of course Cookie's family comes first. I understand that. But she did say that she does love them and she'd stay loyal to them, but she had to do something, and you can just tell that they don't buy it. They don't buy that Cookie has gone this way. They don't buy that Cookie is this huge, is going to support Lucius. They just think that Cookie's been lied to and wronged and all these things. They just don't understand it, and I'm totally on their side. I completely understand why they think Cookie shouldn't trust Lucius. I completely understand that. I thought that was a very good point, and I think they showed that really well. The other great scene in this episode was Lucius's meltdown. I mean, you really understood why Lucius was upset. He's not upset that he's losing Empire. He's upset because all of the legwork it took for him to get Empire. I mean, everything he had to do, selling CDs on the streets, selling drugs, ending up in jail. Yeah, I get Lucius's point. I mean, I think they've really tried to make us feel bad for Lucius this season. The problem is they really haven't done what I thought they were going to do. The flashbacks haven't really done much of anything because they haven't really affected Lucius in any way. He's not really thinking about these flashbacks. I don't really know why they're still in the show. I mean, it seemed like it was kind of just, I thought after we were going to see his mom commit suicide, then that'd be done, and that was kind of the point of it. But now, he doesn't even acknowledge them, they don't talk about him, it just feels like an afterthought. It kind of just feels like filler. It's like Arrow, where the flashbacks, I don't know why they're still there. Cookies, I understand, I understand that, but why is Lucius still having these flashbacks? I don't really understand. And like I said, I get they're trying to get us to understand Lucius more, not, necessarily get us to sympathize with him, but understand what he's going through and realize why he does feel the way he is, and I definitely felt that. I just felt a lot of this episode was very underwritten and very, very rushed, because we focused so much on these awards, and the fact that these awards, I mean, they were stupid, to be honest with you. They were really dumb. The fact that Lucious, like I said, was nominated for Boom Boom Bang Bang when he has like a verse, a quarter of a verse in that song. It's completely free to song. It made no sense to me. I understand he's a producer of that, but this is record of the year and you're giving it to Lucious. I just don't understand. It's, Frida featuring Lucious. And the fact that Frida was over Hakeem, I mean, is bullshit. And then Jamal for Heavy. I mean, Heavy's an okay song, but out of all the songs, it just didn't really make sense to me. And that's the thing with the show. The songs that they pick aren't necessarily bad. It's just the songs that they pick aren't the best songs for that particular performer. And when they make them seem like they're these amazing, amazing things, they're really not. And that's something else that never has worked for me is the music. While I said the music is very good, when you put it in this whole like, oh, it's revolutionary and things like that. Sky Summers literally has a line in episode 9 where she says, I like the way you put your feelings and mood into the song. Every artist does that. Every artist ever lived has done that. Any good artist does that. I mean, there's nothing that unique about Jamal except that he's very good at what he does. He's a very good artist. He's very passionate. But there is that sense that, yeah, he came out and he's not afraid about that. And yeah, that's very revolutionary. I think Jamal's a very good character because of that. But he's really not been through anything that bad. I mean, in the first half of the season, it seemed like he was going to lose everything, and he just got it back, and that's really why this hasn't really worked for me that well either, because it seems like Jamal is just getting everything, he's not losing anything, while the other characters are losing things. And Andre is the most unnecessary of them all. I mean, why does Andre just randomly out of nowhere, I don't understand where this came from, why this happened. Basically, Rhonda hears this like sound. She doesn't know where it's coming from. She's sitting at the top of the stairs. She's standing at the top of the stairs. An anonymous figure just pushes her off the stairs, seamlessly killing her and her baby, simply, I think, to just get Rhonda off the show. And now Andre's about to call her, not realizing that his wife is possibly, in a coma, possibly dead. And that's how it ended, which very awkward ending. I mean, the way they just ended with her on the floor and then they cut to, here are the awards. I mean, it just felt very strange the way that was done. And again, very underwritten. Why Rhonda out of all characters? I mean, there's really nothing. I understand that Andre and Rhonda are the ones responsible for killing Vernon. It was a mistake, obviously. Andre never meant to kill Vernon, if you remember. But who would have done this? I mean, who would have figured it out? It just doesn't really make sense. No one has, Andre's never told anyone that he killed Vernon, which is something I still don't understand why he hasn't confessed to. It's something that he should have confessed to, and he still hasn't. And I hope that happens in the second half of the season because that can resolve a lot of things. But the fact that Rhonda was killed, I just don't understand. Why would you push Rhonda down the stairs? Doesn't make much sense to me. I don't know who would have done that, and I just don't really get it at all. So yeah, episode 10, there are a lot of really good potential things about it, and I do think this cliffhanger can go in some really good places. Lucious's struggle without Empire, how is he going to be now that he's no longer the CEO? Hakeem and him are at very different terms now, because Hakeem is completely wrong the entire family, and you can definitely tell they're going to be very against him now, which I think is very well handled. Cookie, I think she's kind of understanding her place more, and I like that. But please, let's not have her trust people like Laz anymore, because even in this episode, even though she knows Laz has betrayed her, she's about to head off to his party over them, and then she just stops and realizes, oh, my family's important in the last second, which I thought was really dumb, very underwritten. Is Rhonda dead? I mean, I'm thinking she's dead. I don't know if she's dead, but would the show really kill off Rhonda? I don't really know, because I don't want to lose that Andre-Rhonda dynamic. It's one of my favorite parts of the show. I know a lot of people don't like Rhonda, but we need someone like Rhonda, because, Andre goes through a lot. He's been through a lot. He needs really someone like Rhonda, and I think Rhonda's a good character and a good person for him to listen to, even though she's very manipulative and things like that. I definitely love that dynamic, and it's something I don't want to lose. I want to see Jamal not get something, because like I said, he's getting everything. I want to see him lose something. We're not seeing that. I think we should be seeing that. But overall, this season has been very mixed. It started off very, very strong with the way everything started. But it seems like this season, they build up these great storylines, but they don't really think them through and think, does this fundamentally make sense? I mean, a lot of this, Hakeem was very out of character in this episode. Cookie's been very out of character the second half of the first half of the season. And I definitely think they're going to try to improve these things in the second half of the season, because I heard the mid-season premiere is very strong and definitely shows the possibilities of this first half. But is it really going to be, can they really redeem the show? I'm not really sure. I'm going to continue watching because we only have 8 episodes left, and I want to see how the rest of the season plays out. But I didn't just want to stop watching also because I have requests for people telling me it's really good and I should watch it. But overall, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Like I said, I think Empire in the first 4 episodes was great. There really was nothing wrong. Then they introduced that really dumb story with Hakeem possibly cheating on Ryan, and that kind of just went out of nowhere. That kind of just went away. In fact, I don't even think they really talked about it since then, which I'm glad they didn't. That guy was crazy, and I'm glad they didn't talk about it after that because it was really dumb. Not Hakeem, I mean Jamal, not Hakeem. But Hakeem and the lore, I think, is a very good storyline. I like that they are keep making Hakeem this, good guy. But if he's gonna listen to Camilla now, I have no idea where that's come from. I mean, he has been told multiple times to not listen to Camilla. She's a dangerous girl. Why all of a sudden he'd listen to her? I have no idea. It makes no sense to me. Is she really that possessive? Is she really that manipulative? I don't understand. But like I said, I do think there are some good places for this to go. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the way this ties up, and I am going to watch the mid-season premiere, which will be my next review, and we'll see you guys for that. Let me know what you guys saw this first half of the season. Love to hear your thoughts on it, and we'll see you guys in my next review, which will be for the mid-season premiere of Empire, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.